Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with our third Rare Americans music video uh, reaction. This is a donation reward once again for Venom, and it's been a while since we did a Rare Americans set. We did our first two last year, and the second one was, I believe, in July, I want to say, of last year. So it's been quite a while. But we're finally getting back to more of these. We have three that we're going to react to today. We have Baggage, Shay, and Hullabaloo. So we have three different ones that don't really tell me much of anything. The last video, I believe, was just the two Brittle Bones Nikki songs. And before that, we had the other ones that I think were very animal focused. But either way, the big theme in these Rare Americans music videos, from at least the first two reactions we did, it seemed to be like touching on some very real, serious topics through sometimes some cutesy, weird characters and some fun, poppy, high energy music. It has personality, it has some depth, and it's a really interesting combination of things that you wouldn't necessarily expect. So I'm interested to get to these. I don't know what to expect from these titles. Baggage, I mean, I don't know if anyone will get this reference, but when I think of the word baggage, I think of the old game show that was hosted by, no joke, Jerry fucking Springer. I don't know if anyone remembers this old game show, but it was, Jerry Springer was hosting, and it was basically like a dating game show. It's like there were three guys, all of whom, or sometimes three girls, all of whom had baggage, and they had different levels of baggage, like emotional, like life baggage, not like actual baggage. And it's like the person who is trying to win a date with them, basically, it's like, does this baggage, is it a deal breaker for me? Like this, like one person, like, oh, I have an addiction to smelling dirty socks or something like that. I don't know. It's just as an example. It's like, is that baggage a deal breaker? And like throughout the game, the contestant trying to win a date with one of them would eliminate them one by one, and at the end there would be one person left, and they have their final baggage, which is the big one, the one that's like a really big deal, and the contestant would have to determine, is this a deal breaker for me, or can I live with it? But some of the stuff would be like, would be kind of dumb, like, oh, I live at home with my mother still, and it's like, that's not a big deal. But then some of it would be like, some of the big baggage would get to be like, oh, I spent like 12 months in prison for assault. It's like, that's a pretty fucking big deal. It really takes that, and it's absolutely trash. It's trash TV. It's Jerry Springer, of course it's fucking trash. But it's fun trash. It's the kind of trash that you just kind of are amused to watch. Does anybody remember that show? Or is it just me? Am I the only one who ever watched it? But that's all that makes me think of. Shay just sounds like a name. And Hullabaloo is like just a term. Like none of these really give a lot of information. Baggage maybe gives the most because it, like, again, emotional life baggage. Like, you can kind of see a connection maybe there. But again, it's still vague enough to where it doesn't tell you really anything. Brittle Bones Nikki, it gave you information, even if it didn't tell you like what the entire story was going to be about. But these are very vague. So we're just going to get into it, hope for the best, and see what these three have in store for us. So, that being said, let's get going. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, Everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the videos. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, we had a two-parter here, unless there's more to this story, and I just only saw the first two here. I don't know. And a completely separate thing. Let's talk about the separate thing first, Hullabaloo. Even though that was the last one we watched today. Hullabaloo, yeah. That was... It was anti-capitalism. It was anti-capitalism, anti-capitalistic control, all of that stuff, and which is great. Like, we should be anti-capitalist. Let's be honest here. It felt like a kind of what is it called? Hold on, I have to look this up. I actually have a Google thing up already. 1984, that's it. I was trying to remember what the year exactly was. It feels like a very 1984 situation. The George Orwell story. Like, it feels like that kind of thing. We see this guy who's just kind of going through the motions, who's involved in it, basically signing away his life and everything. But then another person rescues him and is trying to get him out of the control of this capitalistic, greedy society. It's pretty straightforward with its messaging and themes. So I'm not going to talk much about that one. Instead, I want to talk about the duo here of Baggage and Shay, which, again, going into this, I didn't know was a duo. It just worked out like that. I was just going in the order that I was given these videos in, you know? So, Baggage and Shay is a two-parter about this young couple. They meet on a plane. They're going on a vacation to the same place. They end up meeting during the vacation as well and kind of connecting. They become friends and eventually lovers, even sleeping together. But they soon find out that they have baggage, both themselves and the other person. James has baggage over a clingy ex who wants to get back together with him and keeps constantly messaging him. While Shay has baggage about her husband having died in a car accident sometime in the past. We don't know exactly when. But it seems like it was probably semi-recently because there was an extra plane ticket in her house right next to the wedding photo. And I did notice that the first time it showed the extra plane ticket, by the way. I was just wondering what... I at first thought she left her plane ticket, but then it showed her on the plane, and it's like, oh, okay. But no, okay, so that came back, and we saw what that was about. So it had to have been sometime semi-recently, because it had to have been after they booked the flight, right? They were planning originally to go together. So they talk about this, and they still remain a couple, but end up leaving to go home. And in Shay, we see what their different lives are like. James is a young musician, trying to make it, and Shay, meanwhile, is a rescue pilot, which makes a lot of sense if you think about it. It's like her husband died in a car accident, and now she's working as a rescue pilot. Unless she was a rescue pilot beforehand, in which case then it's just, I guess, more coincidence. But if she did become a rescue pilot after her husband's death, which is possible, it seems that it didn't like say what her job was beforehand. I think it just said she lived on her own, kind of in the middle of nowhere and stuff. But yeah, it's like if she did become a rescue pilot after her husband's death and all, that would make a lot of sense. But yeah, we see that they try to maintain their long distance relationship, but start to fade apart a little bit. They're making plans to meet up again and all, but like things start to become difficult. Bad connections on video calls and the time differences in regards to making regular calls and everything. Like it doesn't end with them like not liking each other anymore, but you can tell the relationship is starting to strain. And we do see at the end that that Shay puts a picture and letter that she got from this kid she rescued for in her job in front of the picture of her and James, which is obviously symbolic. But it does kind of end open ended. It doesn't actually say the relationship entirely fell apart, and it doesn't say what happened when they were supposed to meet in January. Um, Unless I missed like something. Like let me go back real quick. I'm gonna mute it so you don't hear anything because it showed him during the winter and everything. He was looking at text. I want to read that entire text. She says, after all this with my life situation, so many big life changes right now, don't want to do something impulsive. So did she just not show up for their meeting? Is that what that was supposed to be? I don't know. But either way, it's like I feel like there could be a third part to this. I wonder if there is or if there's going to be. You'll have to let me know about that in the comments. But yeah, these were all very good. I think my favorite from a song perspective was Baggage. But Baggage and Shay both like being like a two-parter work together, and honestly was my favorite in terms of the video. I liked Hullabaloo as well. It's just it was a lot more direct and a lot more simplistic than the other ones. So it's just I liked it the least out of the three. But tell me your thoughts down in the comments below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.